Alright guys, M-Tech Guy here. Now in today's video we're going to be carrying out a mini service on the M5. Now it is due an oil change, not by BMW standards but by my standards. Something I like to get done either every 6 months or every 5,000 kilometers, which is about 3,000 miles. So I like to keep it old school with the oil changes on the S85. That's the way to go with these engines. But generally I don't get to drive the car as often as I like, so normally it's just them 6 monthly oil changes that come round. That's when I get it done. Now it has crept over a couple of extra months this time round, but I've had a lot on my plate just recently and I haven't really got to drive the car as much as I'd like, so not really a big deal, but that's one reason I want to get it done today. And the other item we're going to be looking at changing out today is the pollen filters, because on the rare occasion I do get to drive the car, every time I get in it I've got the iDrive giving me a bollocking saying it's due, you got to get them replaced. So alright, thank you iDrive for that one. We're going to get them done today. So when I get the pollen filters replaced, we're going to also spray some antibacterial stuff down in the air conditioning ducts. This is something that I like to keep on top of, because if you don't do it over the years it'll build up that fusty smell inside the ducting and it's pretty much impossible to get rid of later on. So this is something I just like to freshen up when I get the opportunity, and a perfect opportunity is when we replace the pollen filters. Now with the oil changes on this car, I normally do a quick oil level reading through the iDrive once I've got the oil changed out and I get it exactly spot on. But then what happens every single time is that once you've driven a few kilometers and there's been a few ignition cycles, you get a long-term oil reading kick in for the level, and it always tells me that it's now overfilled. It happens every single time. So this time round we're going to try something a little bit different. What I'm going to do is I've got a 10-litre oil drain pan with the markings for the measurements on the inside of it. We're going to drain the oil, we're going to measure it, and I'm going to put exactly the same amount back in the engine. We'll do a quick oil level reading and then we'll see what the long-term one says a bit later on, and we'll see if that fixes this issue, because it happens every single time. And listen, yes, I know it would be great to have a dipstick on one of these engines, but it is what it is. It's not worth crying about. We're just going to have to make it work with the oil level reading through the iDrive. So we're going to try something a little bit different this time round. Alright, so I think first off we'll start off with the pollen filters. Alright, so first off I think we'll give these lids a bit of a spray and wipe, a bit of a clean before we take them off, and then I'm sure underneath there it'll need the same in the under tray also. Alright, so now that we've got them cleaned up, we can now give the ducting a bit of a freshen up with this stuff. Right, so now we'll turn off the AC and turn up the heat and give it more of the same. Alright, so now that it's had 2 minutes on the cold and 2 minutes on the hot, we're going to shut it off. Now we can replace the filters. Utilising the S85 workbench here. Alright, so that's that cleaned up now. I've got the new filters installed and it smells lovely and fresh in here. I do like that Valvoline stuff because it almost smells like spearmint. Lovely. So now we just got to reset my service nanny here for the pollen filters. So next up, we'll get this oil changed out. Now if we take a look at the reading before we start for the oil level, you can see it's reading 0.9 litres, so that's 0.1 of a litre off being exactly spot on, so that's close enough. So what I plan to do is measure exactly how much we drain out of the engine and put that exact amount back in, and then I'll do another oil level reading once we get the oil change completed, and we'll see how accurate this thing is, eh? And this is a really early E60 M5, 2005. How are we going to manage with only one drain plug? We'll see how much we drain out. So that's all the oil drained off now. If we take a look at the markings on the side of the pan here, see we've got just a smidge over 9 litres. So that's how much I'll put back in the engine. Right, so I've refilled the engine with 9.1 litres. So now we'll fire it up. I'll take it for a bit of a run and then we'll see what the reading tells us. Okay, so we've got the new oil up to temperature. I've taken a short-term oil level reading and it's at 1.5. So even though I refilled the engine with exactly the same amount of oil that I drained out of it, according to this reading, we've got an extra 0.6 of a litre that just come out of nowhere. Guys, I don't know what's going on. It does this every oil change. It always tells you you're overfilled, then you drain a little bit out, and then a couple of days later it's like, no, you haven't got enough oil in your engine now. But anyhow, I'm going to leave that level because I know I've physically seen how much oil I've put back into the engine, so I'm going to leave that for a few days and then I'll see what the reading looks like later on in the future. Alright guys, so there we have it. That's them two service items taken care of for this time round. Now with an S85 engine, you're far better off being over the top with the amount of oil changes you give it. You can't go wrong with that, and that's the way to look after these engines. This is what's going to give you longevity with these engines. Now I'd be really interested to hear from you guys in the comments below on how often you change your oil, whether it's based on mileage or time, but however often you do it, let me know in the comments below. I'd be really keen to hear about it. Now if you found the video interesting or useful, don't forget to give it a like and make sure you go and check out the rest of my YouTube channel for more BMW E60 M5 content. Consider subscribing if that's your cup of tea. I'm MTech Guy. Thanks a lot for watching.